Hello, and welcome to another episode of Gotham by Night. It's high time that answers were given, for there are many questions that still linger around after the conflict that happened. Tonight's scene takes place in a chamber that has been moved aside on Tatiana's property, where a few select individuals are about ready to do something interesting. How long does it truly take before questions become agonizing? Not knowing the truth becomes torture. There are some in this party who are very good with torture, but that's not what tonight's session is about. Tonight's session is about wrapping some things up and answering questions, and finding out where several characters will go forward from here. So our scene now takes us to a dark and somewhat empty room, with exception of our characters tonight. I will let them take the scene away.
In the dark room, having done his preparations, it being hanged with weird cloths, broken and old pieces of bone scattered, at first glance haphazardly, but for those with an occult bend, there is too much of a clear pattern going on. A certain circle of salt has been laid out, and one solitary, white-haired and pale-looking figure is skulking around the room, muttering incantations in a speech that most don't understand, yet the spirits so much more.
If allowed, Creed would be leaning up against the wall, videotaping all this. If asked why, his answer would be simple. Look at Nathan and say werewolves. We promised we would torture him after all.
Okay then, that's...
I mean, our word is enough, and I'm not interested in being in a video as he gets out of the video site.
Anthony,
Out of curiosity, in this world, in Chronicles of Darkness, remind me, do vampires show up on video feeds?
Blurred.
Yeah, but you
Blurred.
can't get a positive ID usually.
Interesting.
They can spend, I think, a willpower to make themselves showed up on video. But
Very well.
if it's a regular vampire, they'll be blurred out.
Proceed on.
Nathaniel has the best selfies.
It's... Yeah, you just act in a way that naturally avoids the camera. It's not like artifacting or anything.
He is careful to keep most people out of the actual video. I just want the ghost in the video, pretty much.
Will the ghost actually appear physically in video though?
It's unknown. None of you have ever tried something like this.
Anyway, Tatiana is a bit on edge with all that happening inside her club, but she's trying to keep it together, let's say. And she will just be pacing back and forth, waiting to see what will happen. By the way, is the body already there, or is Talon bringing it afterwards?
You guys are all already in the basement?
Oh yeah, we're in the basement.
yes.
Yes.
We can just say the bit with the layer already happened. Because
Okay.
it's a lot easier to open it in places I have a chamber at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is part of the club, so
Yeah. So I'll say Talon's there, and the corpse is in a black box. Very not... It's not ornate or anything.
We don't need it to be ornate as long as it has handles.
He will make it known that this box isn't permanent. Like it serves our purpose. Is basically.
Anthony, seeing that Creed wants to record, will make it very clear that if Creed records any of the preparations for this ritual, that he will destroy it and whoever is behind the camera. He doesn't give away family secrets that easily. Anthony frankly seems a little bit pissed off at the whole situation.
All right, Anthony. With the preparations done, with the body where it should be, I will need you to spend an essence and roll me an intelligence plus occult.
On it. Spends 1 essence.
This is simply a communication. Are you trying to enslave the soul as well?
Enslave it. Enslave it.
How long would the enslavement work on the soul?
The enslavement will work with however much essence you wish to spend, equaling 1 week.
Mm,
In other words, you must spend an essence to activate, and then for each essence you spend after that, the spirit can be bound to you for a week. However, this also costs 1 willpower as well. This will be intelligence versus occult plus necromancy versus the target's wits and resolve. Or I'm sorry, resolve composure.
Creed will help you feed afterwards somehow.
To be on the safe side, he will spend another dot of essence in order to enslave the soul. He just wants to be on the sure
Okay.
side that Nigma doesn't try to wriggle away.
Right, so that will be enslaved for you for 1 week. If you succeed, you also must spend a willpower, please.
Will do.
Okay, so I need you to make 2 rolls. I need you to make an intelligence plus occult, but then I need you to make intelligence plus occult plus necromancy. So 4 hits, the necromancy ritual is successful. Let's go ahead and roll everything before I describe what happens here. I'm sorry, Anthony. The spirit will be bound to you for a month, not a week.
It's okay. It serves its purpose.
Right. So that second roll was your to enslave.
Yes.
Tatiana, you get 2. Congratulations, Jason. You won by 1.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, as you do the ritual, Anthony, what do the other players see?
Anthony has placed the black box within the big salt circle. He has taken the lid off. The body, or what remains of the Riddler, lying there. He has put 2 painted stones with very weirdly painted eyes on the eyes of the deceased. He also draws out of a pool and with a feather a line around the corpse's neck, writing very old symbols all around it, as he then takes the feather again and splatters some blood all over the corpse. After that, he puts it aside, speaks guttural words. I take it none of the people here have first speech or first tongue.
I highly doubt that.
Okay, then nobody understands. It sounds like an language, but old and distant, and it just doesn't sound quite human. As he raises his hand, you see, as from the corpse, the ghostly figure of Edward Nigma, also known as the Riddler, appears. A chain around his neck, an ethereal chain, linking him to the ground. He struggles, he tries, but the spirit can't get away. And with the last motion, Anthony holds the other end of the ghostly chain tightly in his hand, and he proclaims in clear English, "The ghost is ready. Ask your questions."
Tatiana will step forth upon seeing that, and she will look towards the others, see if anyone's going to go at it first, or and since there are no takers, she will speak to the spirit. Hello, Mr. Nigma.
Hello.
I do apologize for having to do this, but we will require some answers from you.
Any apology from you is a lie.
Indeed, I was merely being polite.
He looks down at his body and then looks back up at you. And he says, polite. Here.
Don't make me stab you in the face again.
I'm just kind of wave his hand like at his side, like shh.
All things considered, your end was quick. But let us not waste time here. There are things that we need to know.
As you're asking him this, he's kind of looking at the chain that goes from his neck to Anthony's hand.
Then ask away.
Alright, so let's start from the beginning. How did you manage to control Creed? What did you do?
A simple trick.
Care to elaborate?
It is something developed in humans. It's a psychic condition.
And yet he was unable to resist it? How strange.
Some say I have the devil's luck. I guess my luck ran out.
Nathaniel looks, as he says, psychic condition because he's actually a psychiatrist.
So where did you get the fear toxin?
I stole it from an old Crane Industries warehouse.
Strange, because from what we found out, you and Gran Industries are partners, aren't you?
We had a falling out.
Oh, that's so sad. What happened?
I got sick.
Hmm. So my suspicions were a bit accurate. Sick with what?
There's no response.
See, we'll look towards Creed. Maybe that has something to do with that infection that that vampire found. That was out of character, by the way.
Yeah. Creed will say to try to keep this going. Was the celiacs from you?
No.
To have your cooperation, Mr. Riddler, maybe you have left some unfinished business in the earth. So, if you tell us everything that we wish to know, we can complete that.
Hmm.
There's no response.
What's your connection with Cobblepot?
Business partners.
Who was patient zero?
It's a very long pause. Kind of tilts his head a bit, and he says,
Patient zero was a medical phenomena that I used to try and cure a particular ailment that I found in certain vampiric blood.
Who was patient zero?
They only ever marked him as John Doe when we stole his body. Nothing else I knew about it.
Stole it from where?
it's another long pause.
We took it.
From where?
A government facility.
I need more than that.
It was
And he just goes blank. Like, it's like he's going to say it, and then, like, he goes to say it, and then he's like, "Bleh." And then he just looks at you.
Is there a problem with articulating your answers, Mr. Nigma?
Anthony would like to do a perception roll to see if he can figure out what could be causing his blanking.
Okay, perception, empathy. Three hits.
Yep.
You think this may be a result of damage when he died? After all, he took a knife to the forehead.
Anthony lifts a finger. To be fair, his cranium got badly hurt. It could be a side effect of that.
Almost like we should have killed him before questioning him. I wonder if someone suggested that.
It was a good thing you did kill me the way you did. I was going to blow up the facility, which would have killed all of you, but I didn't get to
Thank you, Mr. Riddler.
the damn computer in time.
You would have either way.
I don't see how a wound that happened before death would affect his
Yes.
Anthony, you know that sometimes, well, he's resurrected the spirit, and the last thing the spirit is going to remember is the time, in the room. And even though most all the memories are still connected and whatnot, necromancy is a fiddle magic. And even though Enigma is resurrected and he's a spirit that is enslaved to Anthony, he's a spirit now. So he's got not only massive memory loss and massive memory damage from the amount of damage he took, but he's also bound by certain contracts now out of character.
Okay.
So there are things preventing him from saying certain things.
Okay, let's
Anthony in character knows this. No one else does.
Okay.
Okay.
There was a note about patient Zero saying that he was sent to the Iceberg Lounge. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Answer her.
Penguin wanted him.
Is there any connection with patient Zero and Lillian?
Answer her if you can.
I do not know.
You wanted her though. Why?
I have yet to test one of her kind.
Alright. Why were you experimenting on vampires?
He doesn't answer.
If you can, answer.
He doesn't answer.
The people that were sent vampire blood throughout the city. Where did you get the blood from?
I was receiving the blood from an anonymous tip, an anonymous source that I gained access from. It told me the blood was coming from the old Gotham General Hospital abandoned in the old city.
Do you have notes on the ritual you were using?
He kind of looks over to Creed and he just points to his head.
Can you explain how the ritual works?
Riddler opens his mouth and he sticks out his tongue, and Creed, you can see a very weird archaic symbol on his tongue. And then Riddler looks up at you, Creed, and he just kind of shakes his finger and he says, you didn't say the magic word.
Can you explain how it works, please?
He just slowly shakes his head.
Well, I guess I'm definitely cutting out his tongue and seeing what's in there.
Oh, before we resort to such drastic measures, could Talon perhaps make an occult roll
Four.
to decipher the symbol? He's got 3 occult, so he's an expert.
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Intelligence plus occult.
Just because he literally shoved it in our face a little bit while stuck it out.
Not enough.
Creed will ask, back at the facility under the courthouse, what attacked you? What attacked the building?
I don't know what they were.
But I was told you were doing experiments on them. Were you not?
Didn't exactly get a chance to get stuff done, now didn't I? He looks over at you, Creed.
Hey, what can I say? It wasn't my fault. Do you know where they came from?
He just looks kind of out towards the basement door. And then he looks back at you.
Somewhere far out in the wilderness.
And he just points a finger in a direction.
Now, you said. Now, did they let themselves out, or did someone else let them out?
He shrugs.
What was your original partnership with Crane Industries all about?
You're running out of questions, Creed. As Riddler kind of chuckles in a different voice.
Creed shrugs and steps back and gestures to one of the others to take over.
Well, there was some information that we found that you were in Cape Town 2 years ago.
Have one question left.
Tatiana will look towards Anthony.
Anthony, you can already feel his conscience fading. The spirit will stay there and guide you in basic mundane tasks. But for now, the spirit's consciousness looks as though it's almost done.
Well, out of character, I want to ask about the Cape Town thing because it's the one thing that we really have no idea about.
Oh, yeah.
Could Anthony, by any chance, put one more essence in to basically bolster Riddler's spirit so that he has a little bit more energy left to answer?
Yes, but it's going to be one essence per question.
Okay, at which point he goes, the ghost is fading, the questioning is costing him a lot of energy. I can prop him up with a bit of my power, but every question you ask will cost me. And I'm already half empty.
Understood. Well,
In that case, he puts one essence into the Riddler forcibly if he has to, so that he can answer one
out
more
of
question.
character, hold off because he still has one question that he hasn't answered.
Oh, okay, for
So,
after
so
that.
if we need anything follow up, then you can spend. You don't need to pre-spend. So anyway, back in character. Mr. Enigma, you were in Cape Town 2 years ago. What were you doing there? Why? Is there any connection to what you were doing here?
Finding test subjects.
For what?
Sorry, at this point I put an extra essence in. Answer her.
When you put the extra essence in, he points down at his body.
So you were trying to heal yourself of the disease that you don't want to tell me what it was?
He nods.
Very well. She will look towards the others. I think if there's anything else, we can release him.
You'll ask Anthony if basically how long the ghost is his.
1 month.
Very well. Anything going forward, I'm sure I can just discuss with you as he's looking at him.
Surely.
Creed, before we present the body to the prince, make sure you take samples.
Creed just smiles at that. I'm going to take your advice, and I'm going to be going over to the body with all my religious, or I don't know why I said religious, all my tools of my trade, because I'm going to be, and strangely enough, they're not my drug trade, but I'm taking out, basically tools for examining a body, taking samples, that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm-
advanced.
Medical
yeah.
equipment.
Medical equipment, and I'm going to try taking samples, including cutting out his tongue, if it has the symbol on it.
Okay. Creed, what's your blood potency?
2.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Should I be worried?
What the fuck was that?
Okay, so Creed, you start to cut out his tongue and whatnot. Okay, so you see the symbol. No one seems to recognize it. It's anyone who wishes to identify the symbol can roll an intelligence plus occult. You will need 5 successes for this.
I don't have any occult. I'm not even gonna
I
bother.
don't know. I never bother buying a cult.
Spending willpower and trying to figure that one out.
Okay.
Can I teamwork this?
If you wish to give Anthony a dice, yeah, sure. Just give him a
All right.
dice.
All right.
So Anthony, you get 1 dice. Extra dice. Plus the willpower, obviously. So 4 extra dice.
By the way, I am using gloves. If
No, that's fine. No,
Matter.
that's
Okay.
it's fine. Doesn't matter.
Should I worry?
No, but I probably should.
So
He's
there's
a
no-
professional.
There are no 8F1s in this one.
Oh,
So that's-
what was the difficulty?
It's
Difficulty
not.
is 8, but it's always 8. But that's 2 hits. Not quite enough, Anthony. You try your absolute best, but this symbol is still just a little bit off. You think it may originate somewhere in Europe,
Mhm.
but it's just so hard to tell. You've never seen this symbol before.
I want
Yeah.
to take a picture of the image though.
Yeah.
Nathaniel's actually going to look at the ghost again. And he says, "You heard my deal. Maybe we can do it again." You have a lot of unfinished business. You can do those and you can explain things to us.
Nathaniel, what's your level of aspects?
2.
Okay. Spirit says nothing. Its time is up. It is still there, but it turns into a shadowy husk and floats around kind of like an orb.
Yeah.
It's like going away.
It's still there, but now it's just an orb. The spectral image of Riddler is not there anymore.
Yeah. Anthony very simply beckons the orb over to him,
The orb comes over to you.
and he basically lets it float over his left shoulder as if it were a parakeet. You can rest now, he says.
Do you have a phylactery for it?
To be fair, knowing my character, yes.
What is it?
It would be a Venetian glass bottle with a drop of Anthony's blood in it, and also a drop of the Riddler's blood in it,
Okay.
plus some arcane writing around it.
All right. Creed, roll me an intelligence medicine.
With my tool bonus.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's going to be 2 successes.
Okay. You start doing your thing. And the only real thing about Riddler that you notice is when you open up the chest cavity.
Yeah.
You notice something weird on his heart. After digging around and looking at it and finally getting it up, sure enough, there's a gold coin embedded into his heart.
Great. I pick up the coin. Is it the same coin?
This coin appears to be Latin in origin. It's not Egyptian. It's still gold, but it's this. It would be a European more of a coin than it is an Egyptian coin.
All right. I'm going to study it. Please tell Alf character. Please tell me I just didn't pick up a. Have you ever read Dresden Files?
I'm one of the biggest fans.
Please tell me I didn't just pick up a fallen angel coin.
I'm gonna mark it when it picks it up because I've marked the Egyptian one
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
I'm going to study the surface of the coin.
Okay.
Anthony's just going to go over and very unceremoniously take a snapshot just of the coin and a bit of Creed's hand, but none of Creed's face or anything like that.
I'm going to ask if anyone reads Latin.
And Anthony answers in Latin, "Yes, I can, for it is the language of my ancestors."
Well, I have academics too, so probably. Yeah.
That's not. Never mind.
I mean, Latin is something you were taught at school.
You're taught Latin in school? Never mind.
But yes, and then Anthony answers in English, "Yes." Anthony will have a look at the coin and see if any of the inscriptions say anything.
This is. I don't know what the old Crusade coins said. If any of them had any writing on them, but that's basically what it looks like. It's from old times.
Interesting. A coin from Outremer, or, for those who don't know what that means, the old Crusader states in the Levant.
We keep finding coins everywhere, and I don't understand
First
this
Egyptian,
connection.
first Egyptian, now
Oh,
early
right.
medieval.
Oh, right. I forgot to tell you. So, get this. You know the big vamp dude that we ran into?
He had one.
Is it
Yeah. Take a
that
look.
dude?
He fishes out his out of his pocket and pulls out an Egyptian coin.
The big vamp dude?
Yeah, you know the big guy in the cloak that ran away from the battle that was hanging in Talon's lair.
Creed,
Oh,
Yes.
would you roll me your resolve plus your blood potency, please?
Oh God.
what happened to that guy anyway?
I'll tell you. 2 successes.
Versus 11.
Whoa.
Alright.
All right. Keep going.
All right. I think he died. He got teleported out of the lab. And, well, he got teleported out of the hospital. Talon was there for that. He could explain it better. And we found him in the bay with his heart ripped out and this coin in its place.
All right, Talon.
Alan, would you make me a resolve plus your layer trait, please?
Sure.
Actually, everyone in the room. So Talon, make me resolve layer trait. Tatiana, make me resolve plus blood potency. Nathaniel, same thing. Anthony, make me resolve plus primal urge.
Gotcha.
And this will all be versus that one roll. So if anyone gets 11 hits, all
That's impossible to do.
That's impossible for me.
right.
Wow, 0. Great.
Would you like to make that a dramatic failure?
I mean,
I don't
I'll
know
declare
what
this.
that is.
I mean, I'll declare this. If you want to make a dramatic failure, you still get a beat.
I don't know if it's worth it, quite honestly.
I think it will be.
Hightower. Tatiana.
Fine, I will make it a dramatic failure.
Okay, make a dramatic failure, take 1 bashing damage.
That's it?
Yeah. Mhm.
Fine, okay.
Tatiana, you feel pain. A lot of pain, but it's just, like intense migraine.
Great. By the way, I still haven't done the healing. I totally forgot about this, so remind me to do it later today.
Two successes.
Actually,
I
fuck it.
have-
I'll just spend the blood now and do the healing and be done with it. Whatever. So it does have the bashing now.
Now, my question is this something affecting our minds? Because when Talon get his Clash of Wills first?
Well, the thing is, I already had the Clash of Wills.
Oh, okay.
Talon, go ahead and roll me your... Yeah, go ahead and roll me your big Clash of Wills.
Oh, the perception based one? Oh,
Mhm.
All right. 3. I'd recently been there 4, so that's 7. Plus willpower is 10. Plus 4 for persistent effect.
Still not enough. All right.
Wow.
Oh, right. Good. I just remembered. The blackened Donariuses are silver. We're all good.
What?
Dresden file joke. The coin I was afraid it was is made of silver, not gold.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not doing anything, guys. Go on. Proceed with the scene, please.
All right.
Tatiana, yeah, you took pain. No one else noticed anything. This Tatiana, you feel immense amount of pain in your head, and it goes away after about 10 seconds.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
Something
not something I
happened.
would show. Yeah, but it's not. I wouldn't show something happening though. So yeah, Talon,
sorry.
please explain.
You were asking about the other place?
About what happened to the other kindred that escaped inside your.
Oh. He didn't escape, he was taken, and we found him, oddly enough, with a corpse. Normally your kind, Jesus, don't leave corpses.
That's not necessarily true.
We found him in the harbor, but whoever took him out will be found and dealt with eventually.
So, how could he have been taken from, if I understand this correctly,
My home.
your home is something like a prison, right?
Well, it's not entirely accurate, but it's an apt metaphor.
Should I be
It's-
worried about you?
Oh, he's not that eloquent. He'd be like, he's pissed. Like, he's still pretty angry that something could just scoop someone out of his lair, and it shows a little bit when the topic comes up. He will be dealt with harshly. You don't have to worry about me.
Well,
Not many people know my home even exists, and those that even have an idea that it exists have a pretty extreme amount of work to get there. So there aren't many creatures, period, that could that could accomplish such a thing.
well, then it is quite worrisome. We don't know what we're dealing with here. But if any past experiences are to be trusted, it could be anything. In any case, let's wrap up here. Creed, when you're done with taking samples, put him back in the box. We have to transport him.
When you mention that you're transporting him, Talon will bring up that you get a few days before that box disintegrates.
Fair enough.
Where are you going?
I'll go upstairs for a bit. Want to join me?
V as in?
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
V as in?
She said she was going upstairs, and if you wanted to join her, I don't think she mentioned
Oh,
a group.
okay. Yeah, he will join
Yeah,
her then.
Yeah, he's only referring to Nathaniel. Yeah. Duh.
Yeah. Anthony will say that he will assist Creed in his examination, and just as a little bit of background fluff, when the other two are gone and Creed is done, my guy will actually see that whatever open wounds there are closed shut, that the stones are taken off, that the eyes are closed, and he will even produce a black handkerchief and put it over the Riddler's face before having the box placed over him again. For whatever reason, Anthony is at this point showing quite a lot of respect to the corpse.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and end that scene right there? I'll do the scene with Patience, Charlie, and was going to be Lillian, but she backed up, so we'll just do it with Patience and Charlie. And then we shall continue the next scene where the body is presented to the prince, and Tatiana and Creed will learn some interesting things.
Cool. I gotta put something in in-game text.
Yep, so let's go ahead and do this professionally. So boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom.
Hello?
Patience and Charlie. How you doing?
I guess Charlie's doing pretty fine other than the fact he got super triggered and kinda had an episode in front of an employer. And he
Indeed.
kinda feels ashamed.
Definitely something that would inspire him to go out and have some drinks.
Yeah, definitely.
So you proceed out to this very nice sushi bar, which has some of the best sake you've ever had.
Nice.
I've only been there a couple times, but it's becoming a much more frequented, visited place. Patience,
Yes.
you are also there.
Super.
And I just realized in this scene, with exception of Hightower, Creed, and Tatiana, who will probably be involved in the Prince scene, does Anthony, Talon, or Creed want to be? I mean, sorry, Anthony or Talon want to be in this scene, since they will not be in the other scene. Answer me in private chat.
All right.
Okay. Charles, you're sitting there drinking,
Hmm.
and because Talon, because you and Anthony are not allowed at courtly business, you guys arrive there as well. And you, Talon, you recognize Patience is there as well, and a man you do not know. Other than that, the bar is fairly abandoned.
Which bar is this, sir?
This is the sushi bar.
Sushi bar. Okay. Sorry, we've been introducing new
Should-
bars, so.
Yeah, we
All
should
right.
definitely get this bar a name at some point.
All right. He'll join Patience, but he's keeping his eye on the new face. And Anthony's already there as well.
I'll say, I say you and Anthony came together just because
Yeah.
you guys
Okay,
weren't
no
allowed.
worries.
Yeah,
You guys weren't because since you guys aren't allowed at court.
Exactly.
Right.
Plus, after everything that has gone on, Anthony will be. Yeah, Anthony's looking forward to some good warm sake.
Likewise. Talon does seem a little distracted, and he's not. How would I put this? He's got a slight limp.
Anthony takes notice of that and also looks at the fellow that Talon is looking at.
You
Patience.
notice.
Oh.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, Patience is gonna wave when she sees Talon come in.
He nods and gestures.
You notice the man has a pretty segmented skin. Not pretty, like, as in his skin is segmented. And, yeah. I guess if you look him in the eye, you can also notice that his eyes aren't organic. They're more synthetic. Sorry about that.
Good to know. And Anthony will look back to the bar and order 2 sakes, nice and hot.
Sorry, I was muted. You see a familiar face at the bar. She kind of looks and says, "Sure thing." She comes out and hands you 2 sakes.
Thank you very much, and what a pleasure to see you. I hope you're doing well.
Pleasure to see you too, Anthony. How have you been?
Not too bad. Busy night, but went smoother than expected. So now I'm just planning to hang back a bit and enjoy my not so ill-gotten gains. And he chuckles.
As always. If you're all looking for a new place to hang out, I hear that there is a new club opening up in the higher up side of Gotham City. Might be another place for you to all check out. At least from the
Oh.
rumors I'm hearing about it.
Pray, do tell.
It is called Club Mirage.
And Anthony produced all notebook down on good old-fashioned ink and paper. Closes it and puts it back. Thanks for the tip. I'll give you a review once I've frequented it.
She nods. Goes back to what she was doing.
Yeah, Anthony pours some nice hot sake for himself and Talon and pushes it towards Talon.
He takes it. Pardon me. Takes it as gracefully as he can. He doesn't down it right away, but sake is like in these little, almost shot glass glasses. So
Patience.
Yes.
Your little friend speaks to you.
Limping with the curse of the Dark Mother must be frustrating.
that was to patience.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. She's just, for everybody else, just saying that out of the blue. Just like staring up into whatever corner her eyes fixated on.
Knowing is unknowing, and not knowing is knowing all.
How exactly is everyone seated? Is the three of them seated together and I'm like at the bar or something?
Talon would be sitting next to Patience if possible. So if this is the three of us, it'd be like Talon, Patience, and then maybe Anthony on the other side.
Yeah, that seems fine.
I don't know if we're at a booth or a table, so it's up to you, Patience. You were the first one here.
I would have probably sat down in a booth. Probably had
Okay.
some sushi or something taken out so it doesn't just seem like she's just taking up space. Even if she's not eating it. There's probably like a sushi boat on the table.
Charles, it's at this point, you see a familiar face come in.
Hey, Dottie!
Hey, got room for one more, Charles?
All right, all right, all right. This, whew. Sorry, did we get the job even if I technically fucked it up?
Yeah, we got the job.
Nice, nice, nice. Ah,
How you holding up?
eh, Happens, I suppose. Ooh, I didn't think I'd see that again, you know?
Yeah.
When he says
Neither.
that, he like starts taking a grip of the tiny cup and he takes one gulp of the sake. Still has the joking manner. Uh,
You sure you're okay, man?
yeah. I'm just, you know, I miss sushi, so I thought, yeah, this is the best shit. Thank you, madam, for your amazing service. You know what? For shits and giggles, fuck it. He will sound like Matthew McConaughey when he said that. Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
A very
Uh.
white eyebrow lifts ever so slightly as Anthony just ever so slowly looks over to William and then just very slowly shakes his head. He's not angry at you, he's just disappointed.
I'm playing as Charlie Pooh, William Rain
It's
Peter.
totally Nate. Willis.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, fair enough. Then looking at Charlie, shaking his head, but not looking disappointed, just shaking his head.
uh, how about you, Don? How are you?
Fine. A little bit put off, but I'm okay.
He will look at the lady. Can you please give my friend here whatever he wants? I will take the tab for it.
That's nice of you.
That's unnecessary, Charles.
It's fine. I only ever use it for making those things, not like I need it.
She comes by and she drops off a very nice, exquisite plates.
Thank you very much.
Charles, the woman who you rarely ever see, she kind of just smiles at you and goes back to her business. You've only seen her about 3 times now, maybe.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. You should eat, Don. I couldn't find any place like this in Star City.
Yeah, no kidding. He'll eat.
I'm just glad that we got accepted at Velvet Rose.
I'll perk up at that name being mentioned.
Yeah, hopefully this will give us a little bit of more focus.
Whatever it is that you need, I will help you out.
You sure? Hey, I apologize for putting you through that. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Well, we knew there was some weird shit happening there, but none of us knew that weird shit was that. It's fine. It happens, you know? And he chuckles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose so.
Ah. The lady seems nice enough. She doesn't like being called Tatiana, though, so you should probably stop it with that, you know?
I'll call her whatever she wants me to call her.
Always the obeying type, I see.
Part of the nature. She was very flexible and she was also very, very intelligent in hiring us. So
how did you find me?
goes blank for a moment. says, well, I pulled the connection.
You know, there's a reason why I always change the name of the shop when I leave a city after 6 months. I guess I'm staying here for a while, huh?
No kidding. You're never going to hide from them in the cities, Charles. You know this.
They haven't found me yet.
Hiding from what?
Does
Just tell us. Is that in character?
Yes.
he looks behind you? Yeah, hiding from what? And then he chuckles. Excuse me, do I know you?
Talon. And he gives
Ah.
you a nod and offers his hand.
Charles. Charles Manderley. And he shakes it and he gives you a grin.
Very well.
He looks very inebriated.
You mentioned the Velvet Rose
Ah,
and that you're focused now.
what? You know,
I
your
believe-
shopping isn't nice.
Oh, I thought you guys were having that conversation at the table with us. Never mind.
No, we're at the table that's down the way.
Oh, okay. Then I did
Okay.
know from my hand because you're apparently
Yeah,
down. the way.
you would have just turned and said something. You have to say, get up and walk over.
Yeah, no, it's fine. He just kind of nods with his head like a gesture, like a polite gesture. Then Talon.
Yeah. You know what? To be polite, he will stand up and try to shake your head when he introduced himself. A bit stumbling a bit.
Oh, that's what you meant by inebriate. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Talon will stand up and return the gesture.
You know, eavesdropping isn't nice.
Too honest for my own good. What can I say?
Anthony swivels on the chair around, looking at what is happening and just having a second gulp of nice warm sake.
Why are you interested, friend?
Well, as a friend of mine would say, the city's going tits up.
Lovely, lovely.
It seems I keep running into people who could use my, after a minute looking for the word, services.
And what do you exactly serve?
I'm pretty good at finding things.
Hmm.
But you sound like you want to hide from something, so that has me intrigued.
Don't worry about it. It's just a old family mess. He smiles.
Now, we all have skeletons in our closet. He'll sit back
Sure.
down as he says that.
Chuckles even harder.
You seem like good folk.
Indeed.
Yeah. Have you got enough sushi there, or should I order you a second round?
Oh,
Anthony
Talon's
says.
having another meal if you're... It doesn't even matter if it's offering it to Talon. He's just like, I want more.
We've got
Okay,
an entire
yeah,
sushi
yeah.
in front of us that I'm not eating.
It's fine. Anthony orders 2 more plates of sushi.
Hey Don, let's sit with these people and let's party with them.
He
It's a
kind of-
celebration. We got accepted. Yeah.
He very slowly lets out a sigh and just sits down very quietly at the same table.
Yeah, Charles kind of pats you on the back. This is my dear friend Brandon. And these are people I literally just met 5 seconds ago. Hello.
Hi there. And if Charles has a drink in his hand, my guy will very politely try to take it out of his hand and offer him some sushi as replacement.
Yeah. Sushi. But you know what? Sure.
It's on me. Have some. You need something to soak up that alcohol, mate.
It's a celebration. We got
I
a new
don't tell it.
job.
Oh, what kind of job?
Just some security. New job. Celebration. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Ah, so you work in the security business. Interesting.
We do now.
You okay, buddy? And Anthony looks at Brandon.
Says perfectly fine.
Excellent.
Cal's
So-
just gorging himself.
What do you guys do in this lovely Gotham City?
I'm a wedding planner. Yes. That's what I am.
I was
Never
born
met
here. I'm reclaiming what I lost.
Ah. Good on you.
Avian veterinary. And apart from that, obviously trying to dodge gangs and not get horribly murdered. So, your standard Tuesday.
Well, Charles Manderley, doctor, I suppose. Not guard now, God, yeah. Charles Manderley, security at large.
Brandon Kirkwin, private eye. And now security.
So that's what I'm supposed to. That's your role at the Velvet Rose.
Boy, you sure are curious about the Velvet Rose.
You might say it's my charge.
What now?
So that's basically an archaic way of saying he's somewhat responsible for it.
Oh,
And he's
Oh.
when he says what now, Talon just kind of looks at you funny, like,
the brain is not functioning that well at the moment. So you also work in the Velvet Rose, I suppose, technically, right? That's right.
you might say I'm its guardian.
And I'm, well, vet, caretaker, and also aviary supervisor for the birds as well as the place where they perch.
Oh shit, we're co-workers. You're not done. Holy shit, the world is small.
No, that's just Gotham.
Yeah, in Gotham, everyone knows everyone after a certain amount of time.
Well, I suppose we'll be getting to know you guys soon. After all, we work together.
I don't work at the Rose.
Oh, right.
What would
Wedding
I would
planner.
do there?
I don't know.
I don't think burlesque is quite her taste.
No, they don't taste nice.
Talon just looks at her like,
What?
no, she has interesting tastes, but they aren't lewd.
You're not supposed to be licking their skin. You're supposed to be watching them.
That explains a lot.
Anthony just laughed out loud, throwing his head back. He's not giving a shit. He's just having a good time now.
Talon just puts his hand on Patience's shoulder. He's just like, careful how far you go with that. You guys have rules against that kind of thing.
Of licking people?
Well,
I
that's
better hope
also.
so.
He
I
just
need to read the
chuckles.
rule
Sure,
book
we'll
then.
go with that.
They need a rule book.
You guys have rules for licking people? What?
I'm pretty sure if any of the patrons were to lick any of the working girls there, they'd be thrown out faster than you could say, "Ah!"
I mean, nobody's complained yet.
He just takes his hand off your shoulder, chuckles. He's just like, you're also a different breed than most.
Like a thoroughbred. No, that's a horse. Am I a thoroughbred? No.
Just
I was just looking at patients, very confused, with jaw agape, like, what the fuck?
You are clearly a horse, woman. Or are you a turtle? Perhaps a frog. Yes, a frog.
I can't jump very high.
oh yes, you can.
Have you
Oh,
ever
what's
tried jumping?
I might be a frog.
She says this out loud.
And Anthony just looks at her very confusedly. I can guarantee you, miss, you are definitely not a frog.
Apparently, the woman thinks she's a frog.
Are you
But how can I
high?
jump then?
He kind of looks towards Anthony, who he knows is not human, whereas the other two. Speaking of, are they actually just humans with supernatural merits, or are they hiding it somehow?
Supernatural
Yeah.
humans.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, since we are sitting closer, you guys will probably notice Charles has segments that are on the skin, and it looks like he has metallic plating underneath his skin, and some of it are like noticeable with the segments, and his eyeballs are 100% synthetic.
That's eerie, and Talon is not visibly shaken by it, but you can tell he's like looking at you more than the other people.
Yeah.
But he breaks that to look at Anthony. He's like, her condition might have affected her worse than others we're acquainted with.
Oh, speak no more, speak no more. Okay, that explains it.
You might want to go on the down low with the drug stuff. Like
Oh,
lower
no,
the
it's
dosage.
crazy.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
So,
They call me anyways.
so let's just leave her be with her stuff. Okay?
Indeed.
Agreed?
Indeed.
Agreed? Excellent.
I like you.
And he actually takes a bit of the sushi and pushes it towards her. Sushi?
How about it for you guys? You were late.
Anthony, was it you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you said earlier that you were like running from gangs and stuff, which means there is a chance you'd get hurt, which means you need a doctor, which means I can be your doctor, which means
And-
he pulls out a wallet. Give us a call if you need a doctor.
And he very reluctantly takes a calling card and has a look at it. What does it say?
It says cybernetic doctor Charles Manderley of the Traveling Caravan.
Aha. Dr. Manderley. Understood.
He is a doctor. He actually has his PhD?
He puts it in a side pocket and goes like, "Good to know." But
He has a PhD and an MD.
If you
Very
ever
nice,
need
Wayne.
any cybernetics or just need to get cured, just think Dr. Manderley.
I don't think thinking about you will help. Might need your actual help.
Talon just shakes his head. You don't need to worry about me. At least
him,
as
you
far
could,
as
yeah.
changing me goes.
And I am currently in no need for cybernetics, but I'll keep it in mind in case somebody I know needs it.
Ooh,
And he
you
just
get it
puts
so
it
you
away.
could turn your head all the way around. That would be cool.
So, what are you drinking there? And he points at her drink. obviously trying to change the subject.
I don't know. What am I drinking?
May I? And he sort of points to the drink. He goes to the drink and takes a good old whiff with his good old-fashioned were owl nose senses. And yeah, what is he smelling?
Blood.
Ah, understood. You make yourself Bloody Mary. Good choice. And he pushes it back to her.
That has got to be the most bloodiest looking Bloody Mary I've ever seen in my life.
You would also smell blood on Talon.
That's okay, and Anthony is not surprised at that.
No, Talon's blood, but yeah.
Ah. Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
I need something. What do I need? I need a frog? No. I don't need a frog. Can't eat frogs. Why would I eat a frog? I need this. She sticks her hands into a giant fucking bag, pulls out one of her lollipops, which there's a seemingly endless supply of, and plops it into a drink. That'll do.
Okay. Yes.
Brandon kind of chuckles a bit and he says, well, holds up his glass. Then to new coworkers and friends, then.
Anthony pours some sake and cheers Brandon. To new co-workers.
Patience will also lift her up her glass and clink it. 2 frogs and people.
2 frogs and people.
Yes!
And I think that's a very good place to end that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And now we will go to the main event. And I'll go ahead and put Talon up just because of the thingy going on.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no other character conflicts for that.
All right, so Talon, go ahead and mute yourself. We now turn our scene to Elysium, where high up in the clock tower, 3 vampires are making their way to the prince's office with a specific body in tow.
Nathaniel is waiting.
Freed's probably the one carrying the box.
Yes, Nathaniel is looking up as he listens to the elevator music.
As you arrive up to the top on the last floor, you notice once again, Nathaniel, that there is no one in this hallway. But after what you saw last time, you imagine that there are.
He doesn't say anything and he looks at Tatiana. We can't hear you, Christine.
She not back yet? Oh, wow, she's not back yet. So we'll go ahead and just take a small intermission, just a pause.
All right. I'm going to go find food.
Yep.
Ding.
I'm back. I'm here.
Indeed, but now we're waiting on Creed. I need you, Creed and Nathaniel, for the scene. It's got to happen, so we'll wait.
Yeah, it got to happen.
Daniel looks at Tatiana to lead the way as he is with her. They get out of the elevator, I think.
So Creed is not gonna be there. Out of
He
character.
should be. He should be. So either way, just go ahead and talk while you guys are heading there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have them. Jared and Caleb carry the box.
Creed is carrying the box.
No, I have Jared and Caleb carry the box and bring it with us to Elysium.
You don't bring your ghouls to Elysium.
You can, but not typically to the prince directly.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be publicly done. It's not going to be in the prince's office.
It's literally, you're literally entering Prince's office right now. It's like Brandon said.
Damn it, Brandon! Is he here even? Give me a second. Is Brandon here even?
I'm right here. I'm waiting for Creed to get back.
Yeah, read your PMs.
I read my PMs. If you're patient and actually wait for the scene to take place, you'll figure out what's going to happen.
Well, not my fault.
Well, fuck it. I'm not going to wait. Okay. So, you proceed on into the prince's office.
Yeah, but will I have the ghouls carrying the box?
Sure.
I think Creed said he was, but it's okay.
All three of them can carry it. I don't care.
Tanya looks at Tatiana. Are we entering?
Yeah, we'll enter.
You enter the prince's office, elaborate as always. See the prince standing this time, waiting for you. Ah, Tatiana, Nathaniel, and Creed. Welcome, all. I heard from my sheriff that you had succeeded in your task, and I was very happy when I learned the news. Welcome, come in, help yourself to a drink. We'll do our little thing here in a bit, don't worry.
I did bring you, well, his remains.
Indeed. And Nathaniel, congratulations on the kill, by the way. I owe you an extra boon for that.
Thank you, my prince.
So whereas in all of you I will owe 1 boon to you, but you, Nathaniel, I will owe 2.
Happy to hear.
Of course.
He smiles.
And it is a shame that we couldn't bring him alive, but alas, what happens will happen. Now, I did promise you something a little bit extra, though, didn't I?
To who is he talking?
Talking to you, Tatiana, and
Okay. I believe so.
he says, well, there's a little something I would like to show you, Nathaniel and Creed, as part of your extra reward, shall we say? If you don't mind,
Nathaniel
you can,
nods.
if you don't mind, you can leave the Riddler's body.
Nathaniel leaves the body. He was not carrying it anyway.
Oh no, the ghouls were carrying it. And he knows the ghouls. I mean, he provided them. So.
He opens up, he goes over to his bookshelf and he pulls out a book, and you see a just like classic out of an old Frankenstein horror novel or movie. You see the bookcase open up into a secret passage elevator.
If there's an indication of following, Nathaniel will follow.
He will inevitably, go in and give you an indication. All 3 of you proceed down. And he actually has Creed wait in his office, and he says, I'll have my own thing for you, Creed. This is just for Nathaniel and Tatiana. And the door will shut, and the 3 of you will go down into the darkness. You eventually open up into another kind of lanky hallway, almost looking like a hospital room. And walk down. Prince leads you. Nathaniel, would you make me a wits plus empathy plus aspects?
Thank you.
This is the first one of the scene, so it will not cost any blood.
I have 5 successes. Exceptional.
Very nice. What do you want to do? What questions would you like to try and figure out about this scene?
Where are we going?
It seems like this hallway is going down, and you can sense that there's probably a circular chamber at the end, which the prince is leading you to.
Is this a trap?
In other words, you're asking, is like there's dangerous here?
Mm-hmm.
There is danger, but it does not appear to be. There appears to be no threatening menace towards you. There is threatening menace, though, but it's not towards you. That is something the beast can discern.
I don't have any other questions, to be honest.
Okay. You proceed on down, and you get to a viewing window. Kind of like, how the interrogation rooms of most police rooms are. But it's sealed shut by a metal door or a metal shutter. Prince asks you and Tatiana to stand next to him.
He does.
Yeah, she will.
Tatiana, do you remember when I told you that there were people in the court who were being rather rude about your status and Creed's?
Yes, of course I do remember.
Well, I wanted to leave Creed up in the office just because, I have something special for him. But for you two, I wanted to address the people who were accusing both of you, you and Mr. Hightower, especially you, Tatiana. They were so very rude. I mean, like I said, I don't care who you fuck. You can fuck whoever you want. It's not a part of business. Nonetheless, I had to keep up appearances because, well, let's just say the court was a bit against me. However, it just so happens, and he looks both at Nathaniel and Tatiana. He says, it just so happens that there are 2 new openings at the council seats. Would you like to take those seats?
Can I roll for trying to hide my enthusiasm?
If you want. Wits plus subterfuge.
Cause yeah, baby. One sec.
Both took status dots, so this makes sense too.
May I ask what is council members?
Ooh, I failed.
Basically,
Oh, no, I didn't fail.
basically you are one below the prince. Like you're kind of like there's the sheriff, the spy master, the harpy master, and all that. The council is kind of like the
primage.
what he calls in, and it's like, okay, everyone, we're gonna like decide stuff, and what are we gonna do from here? And basically, it's basically an up in status. You are now basically at status just under the prince.
Yeah, it's like the Primogen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is like the primage. Yes. Anyway,
He
I got
says-
one success though.
So he can still tell. He has specs up. He looks at you, Tatiana, and he's like, oh, gives a nod, and he says, "I take it you two will accept this position."
Whatever pleases you, my prince. And she will smile.
Nathaniel will say, yes, I will accept this position, my prince.
Very well. Well, in addition to putting you on the council seats, I need to give you each a role for Elysium. Tatiana, I figured you could join the Harpy Ledger and help them with their business.
That would be acceptable.
Mr. Hightower, what would you like to do?
As Amachan nonchalantly checks the vampire, the Requiem positions.
I need to be really quick.
You got a question about the positions?
Yeah, I know a couple of them, but I don't know all of them.
I could.
He says,
Okay.
actually, he's going to do something crazy. My clan is known as advisors, my prince. I would like to be your Fabian, as in your seneschal.
Prince thinks for a moment. Done.
Sorry, what the miss?
Nathaniel's going to be one of the prince's advisors.
Is it like normally one person holds that power, but like this prince maybe does it differently?
This particular prince has 2.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find out who the other one is sooner or later. So, Nathaniel, he looks at both of you, Nathaniel, Tatiana. I'm glad to see that we have upped your status, upped your positions. Now, as you know, there were some people saying, some fellow kindred saying some very mean things about you, Tatiana. And I even found out later that they were the ones who sent the Joker to your club. Personally hired him out. Can you believe that? Our kind stooping to hiring low-level gangs to do something like that. The nerve.
The sheriff told me that he had dealt with these people.
Oh, he dealt with them. But as you'll see here today, and he pushes a button near the riser, and the metal sheet starts to open up. We're going to actually deal with that right now.
So what do I see when the light goes?
When the riser opens up and the light comes on, you see a rather brutal thing. For those of you who have read what the cross of burning is. It is 2 victims placed upon a Roman cross. You see a male and a female kindred.
Do I recognize them?
Clothed and beaten to shit, but yes, you recognize them. They are 2 people who were laughing at you when you were thrown. And Creed is not here, but out of character, these were 2 people who were also laughing when Creed suffered his punishment from the prince. And you've seen them before at Elysium, just passers-by. They gave you some looks.
Mm-hmm.
They have been staked, both of their feet and hands, to the cross. They also have these weird contraptions pointed at their chest. It almost looks like automatic stakers, if you really want to simplify it. They have been clearly unfed, and they are not looking well. They look like, either one of them looks like they could frenzy from hunger any minute.
Mm-hmm.
A fitting end.
A very fitting end. However, I don't like traitors. I don't like those who would seek to undermine me. So, he smashes another button with his fist, and I'm going to need both Nathaniel and Tatiana to make frenzy checks at +1 because the room immediately fills with fire and you see the 2 kindred light up and just burn to death.
That's resolve composure.
Mm-hmm. That is the don't freak out roll.
But you are in a familiar place, and he is currently producing an aura, so this will be +1.
You're also in Elysium.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Elysium, so that's another +1.
2. Sorry.
2, sorry. 2. So
Oh,
roll 2
fuck.
extra. Roll 2
I am
extra
fine.
dice.
Whew, I'm fine.
Well, I'm fine without the extra
Okay,
dice.
either way. You're both okay. He hits the button, and you watch the 2 vampires burn into a fiery inferno. Now then, puts a hand on your shoulder, Tatiana, and he puts an arm around your shoulder, Nathaniel. He says, now then, you 2 have just been risen to very high positions, and you also now have seats on the council. I expect you'll do a better job than they did.
Expect is a bit of an understatement. I can assure you.
Well,
Duty is his own reward, sire. I will not fail you.
man after my own heart. Excellent. Well then, I bid you 2 a good night. I bid you happy hunting.
Question
Yes.
before you go.
He just jerks his head at you.
Would my club be declared an Elysium as well?
Yes. Both of them. Oh, yes, and we need to go do our little display here of the Riddler's body and show it that we have finally purged the city of this pathetic place. But for a moment, I need to go talk to Creed and give him his little indulgence.
Then we shall.
All right.
Oh
You
god.
go back up the elevator. Creed, you see the elevator that the 3 went down open back up, and the prince comes back in, Creed, and he says, Creed, my boy, how are you doing? Sorry to leave you there for a sec, but I had to give Nathaniel and Tatiana their proper dues. Now, I need to give you yours. Would you come with me here?
Creed just nods and stands up, gives Tatiana a look, and turns to follow.
So, Creed, my boy, I hear that you were a man of many talents. Bianca has spoken very highly of you.
I get my shit done.
Yes, so she says. Well, I wanted to see if I could. Well, between you and me, Creed, as this is as the elevator's going down. Between you and me, Creed, I know about your talents, and I would like to see to it that no one really bothers you. Using that code name was a pretty clever idea. After all, your kind tends to be sought after very highly, as does Bianca's.
Well, what code name are we talking about?
He just smiles, gives a little shrug. Your medical expertise, Creed, is fantastic. So, I wanted to give you an option. Do you remember those very rude patrons of mine that were there laughing at you as I had to dish out my public punishment to you?
Yeah.
Yes, very problematic. 2 of those people have been taken care of. However, there is one that has not been. And you come down to a dark hallway, and he leads you to what looks like an operating room.
I'll follow.
You look inside, and you see a Kindred strapped to the table with very solid-looking metal bars. And he says, "Do you know who this Kindred is?"
I look over. Do I recognize him?
You've seen him at the Asylum, and you saw that he was one of the guys who was laughing at you when the prince did his little thing.
Sorry, I don't exactly keep up with politics.
Well, let me tell you something about this one. He lied to me, went behind my back, tried to assassinate you, tried to assassinate your sister, and has been literally going about trying to bring down the Invictus and the Carthans. He also assassinated 2 higher-up members of the Carthassians. Can you believe that? You don't do that anymore.
I'm not exactly surprised, but
This is also the man who apparently sent those goons after you, Creed. And he also tried to kill Bianca. Can you believe that?
at that, his face gets very stern.
Now, he's doing this as he's kind of walking around behind you with just one hand constantly on your shoulder or back. He's like, now, I gave your sister and Nathaniel up positions. And I said, I hope they do better than their predecessors. And then I burned those two pathetic excuses for people alive, and I gave their positions to Nathaniel and Tatiana. So, I thought to myself, how on earth could I punish the one who has not only insulted me, but insulted my court, and insulted you and your very kind sister and Nathaniel, who have been so helpful throughout the past days? I have tried so hard for the past 100 years to keep the Invictus and the Carthassians from fighting one another. I have tried so hard, and I just... You get the idea. I am trying to bring about progress. I am trying to bring about the future. But, as we all know, there are those who cannot move forward. And see, that's why I like the Carthassians. Because they know how to move forward and they know how to be progressive. The Invictus needed some work. It needed to be molded. And I've done so. But I still have so much more to do. We're only half. The other half of the Invictus is still locked in traditions and seeping in ideologies that will no doubt send our kind back to the brink of extinction. I have gained some following in the Crone, but now I need some following in the Order of Dracul, which is why me and Bianca have been talking quite a bit. She shares a lot of my ideals. So when it almost looks like he just wants to spit out the word, but he has this kindred, this fellow kindred. when I found out that he was responsible for not only attacking your sister's club, but for almost trying to kill you and your friends. Well, I thought to myself, what punishment could be sorted out? Maybe give him to Bianca? Maybe give him to you? Because I got to tell you, Creed, I went over and over and over in my head the most possible worst punishment I could give this one. And I have to admit, for once, in almost 200 years, I couldn't come up with anything. So, Creed, as part of your reward, I will owe you one boon. And as part of your bonus, I leave this kindred's fate in your hands.
Creed just gets a dark little smile on his face as he steps towards the kindred. He's going to.
Go ahead.
Okay. If the prince has nothing else to say, he's going to walk towards the kindred.
Mm-hmm.
Grabbing at his face and turning it both ways. So, who the fuck are you?
He looks pretty badly beaten and unfed, so he's obviously fighting his beast to stay in control. But he kind of looks, he's like, Zach. And then he spits at you.
Plan?
Mech it.
One of the spies, one of the sneaky folk. Figures. You couldn't have enough balls to directly confront me. You had to go after my sister, myself, Bianca.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault you surround yourself with whores.
No one touches her. Don't you fucking dare talk about Bianca that way. Tell me, do you wish for death?
I
You want
embrace
death?
it. I embrace whatever fate comes to me.
Do you now? No. Death would be too good for you. Death would be too kind. We will take you to her. I will show you just how beautiful that woman is. Just how great she is. As she shows you her craft. What amazing things she can do. And he gets a sort of pleasant smile on his face. And how lovely she is. But first,
I have seen the light, you fool. You cannot hurt me with anything.
the light.
He looks back, tilts his head, and he says, "The great I, my Lord and Savior, I am your vessel. Take me." Which is the exact same thing that Matches Malone said.
Is there a stake or something nearby?
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he says that, I'm just going to stake him.
You stake him.
Sending him.
It's an easy task. Puts him into torpor almost immediately.
Yeah.
And you hear an odd sound. Almost like a low buzzing of a beehive. You see his mouth open, even though he's in torpor. And you see hundreds upon hundreds of bees start to come out of his mouth and buzz around the room.
Well, I guess I'm getting out of that room.
You get out of the room and you shut the door. The room starts to fill with the sound of buzzing and the flying of bees. Prince kind of opens his eyes wide and steps back. What the?
It was like Matches Malone.
He pushes a button in the room. You see, go ahead and roll me your frenzy check +3.
All right.
But he pushes a button and the whole room just lights up with flame and fire, and you see the kindred just burn.
That's 3 successes.
Yep, you're fine. Prince is like, what the? Fucking A.
This conspiracy is going way. Creed growls, punches the side of the door. Careful not to. Hopefully not breaking through the.
It's solid metal, so
Alright.
it just gives a little indent. That's it.
And go. Fucking gargoyles. Seen this before.
Where did you see it?
Some chump named Matches Malone. Tatiana had me fetch him for one of her little pets. After a bit of stabbing, a bit of gun shooting, the guy was about to die at the pet's hand. Only he said the exact same wording. I have seen the light. Take me, my lord. And then his eyes grew red, and next thing we fucking knew, we were dealing with a 10-foot tall monstrosity of a metal gargoyle. You know, like when you see something that looks like it should be out of an 80s heavy rock film mixed with steampunk. It was annoying.
Prince looks to you, and then he looks back to the room now, burning husk. I did not know that we had Diablerus in the city. I did not know that we had Demonites.
Demonites?
Little nickname I've acquired for them. Cultists. It is said that some of our kind worships other outerly beings. Practice has been illegal in almost every city of our kind for generations. But if we have cultists in the city, we may have a bigger problem on our hands.
Oh, fuck. Here I was going to turn that guy into the biggest supporter we could get. Waste of a vampire.
Prince kind of is focused on the room with his hands in his pockets. Without even looking at you, he says, why don't you keep investigating the penguin for now? We'll deal with this as it comes. There's no other way to deal with it right now. I just cleared out 2 pieces of the council that disagreed with me. I now have majority vote, but there's a lot to clean up. We can't deal with this right now. We'll just have to take it as it comes. Right now, we just need to eliminate the problems that we know of.
He gives a small smile and goes, no problem. Matches Malone was Penguin's man anyways.
Tell me, Creed, did you say Matches Malone died?
Yep. Saw the gunshot.
Then I wonder who that was at Penguin's Club last night.
Tatiana said someone's walking around with his face.
You hear the prince mutter something under his breath. Would you go ahead and roll me a wits plus composure, please? You will need 3 hits to hear this, because he said it very quietly.
Only 2 hits.
All you hear is... That's all you heard.
Creed will go. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Nothing.
You sure? It could have been something. Could be something that could help in this case. Even if it's just an idea.
Maybe. Another time. Prince kind of shakes his head. Anyway, Creed. Why don't you join me upstairs for the presentation of the Riddler's body, and we'll present it and give your sister and Nathaniel and all them their official positions.
Sure thing.
And remember, I owe you. Now, pats your shoulder, and you guys walk back up to the elevator to go do the presentation. And as you're going up the elevator, Creed, you could have swore that you saw someone standing next to you in the elevator. Shadow? Obfuscated vampire? I could have swore there was something there. Maybe it was just a trick of the light. But for now, that is our last scene, and the camera will fade away as you rise up.
All right.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Gotham